Good afternoon. It is December 11th, our last week together, my last video with you. We are just finishing up week 8 now, and I hope that you are well on your way to completing your final assignment and getting that submitted this week. So let's begin today by talking about a discussion board. You have 2 discussion board entries that are due this week. The first discussion board question asks, where does the American education process stand? This is based on your reading of Chapter 10, and in Chapter 10 you are going to read about 5 other countries and doing some comparing and contrasting with our educational system and their educational system. So you want to be thinking about what insights do you have on the American education system process, what are we doing well, and what can we improve based specifically on the examples in the text. So the 5 countries begin with Finland, who has no teacher evaluation system. There is a YouTube video on page 323 that might help you look at that a little more deeply. The second country that they've looked at is Australia, in which the assessment and innovation is handled at the local level. How would that relate to how we are doing that here? Thirdly, we take a look at China. China has an emphasis on grades, test scores, and other external indicators. Again, there's another video link for you on page 333. The fourth country is Brazil, which the authors consider very similar to the United States in many ways, and comments that improvement must take place for all cultural groups and improvement for early education, early childhood education. So be thinking about how that's similar and different from the U.S. And lastly, they take a look at South Africa, which is still suffering from the effects of apartheid and really need to begin to focus on equity for all. Do you see some common threads running through these countries that might relate to our country and our educational system? So your overarching questions are, is their view wide or narrow? How do they want to shape the future? And can we use this information to improve our own system? So be thinking about those as you make this entry. Your second discussion board question has to do with global education, and they have supplied you with 3 videos, and they want you to respond to this question. What are some takeaways in regards to where your school stands in the arena of global education? If your school is already moving in this direction, what are some examples? And if your school is behind the times in this regard, what is one way you can personally get that ball rolling, if only in your own classroom? So the 3 videos, the first one is called Big Thinkers. This is a video by Linda Darling Hammond. It's about 9 minutes long. If you don't know her name, you should. She's a mover and shaker in the state of California's educational system. The second video is called The Global Dimension, and it looks at Walter Pidgeon High School. It's an Edutopia video, about 7 minutes. And lastly, there's a very fast-paced, engaging 5-minute video from Canada, and it's called 21st Century Education in New Brunswick, Canada. So as you're watching those videos, keep those questions in front of you, and hopefully giving you the times on the videos will kind of help you plan out your time for the week. Lastly is your last assignment. We talked about this quite a bit last week, so I really don't have a lot more to say about it. This is your formative assessment that you're using. We talked about how you were going to have one formative assessment for each of your 5 lesson plans, including your rubrics and your handouts and examples. And make sure that for your summative assessment, if you're using a project-based assessment or performance task, you make sure you have a rubric for that. And then lastly, make sure that you have that one-page reflection, and that it has to do with the roles of formative and summative assessment. So make sure you refer back to those resources that we've put on Blackboard for you. I do want to apologize for not grading your assignment 6 yet. I was out of town in Dallas for a national conference, and I took my iPad with me so I could get all those graded and scored and back to you, and my iPad just would not let me scroll over to assignment 6. So I apologize. I'm going to work on those this afternoon and tonight, and I should have those all posted for you by Monday. I do want to remind you that since assignment 7 is the last assignment and grades will be due probably Tuesday following, there's a really short turnaround. So your final assignments, your discussion boards and your final assignments must be posted by Friday night at 11:59. So please make sure that you get those in on time, because I do have to submit grades earlier than normal for the end of this session. So that being said, I want to say that I've enjoyed getting to know all of you and interacting with you through mostly email and your online postings and your work, and I've really enjoyed reading what you have to say and how you have learned from this class. So I want to wish each of you the merriest of Christmases, in the hope that you will take lots of time to spend with your families and have a time of rest before the beginning of the year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.